Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and we're doing Escape from Echo Base. So I want to do the, I want to replay the story. Alright guys, so I already recorded this video, but I'm going to do it again because I just didn't like it. I was editing it. I edited it for like an hour, and I just didn't like, I don't know, I just didn't like it. I was too close to the mic, it was too muffled, whatever. I'm going to re-record it. So in this video, I'm going to give my opinion on Dune 2. And before I get started, I want to explain, I am a movie casual. I am not like a big I'm not a big movie fanatic. You know, I don't go watch the movies all the time. I only went this time just because me and my friends saw the first movie, so we thought, you know, might as well see the second one. We wasted our time seeing the first one. Yeah, might as well get through it and watch the rest of the films, right? And so when I watched the first movie, me and all my friends, we agreed that the movie was a bit confusing. Okay, so I'm gonna say this about the first movie and the second one. It is confusing, and it's not confusing to the point where I didn't understand completely what was going on. But the thing what bothered me is that I wasn't able to really comprehend just the reason they were doing everything. Like, I knew why, but it never gave me like a simple, it was more like A to B and that's it. It was never explaining like why we need to get from A to B. When I say understand the movie, I kind of understood it. Like, it's getting from A to B, but I just wish I got more information on why we need to get from A to B. You get me? It was just more of like, I know, like, alright, we have to get here and that's it, and then they just do shit along the way where I'm like, what the fuck, why are we doing this? So when I watched the first movie, it was like that. You know, I see all these characters and I'm like, okay, why are you guys evil? Why are you guys against them? Why are you trying to do this? Like, I just couldn't understand why. I couldn't wrap my mind around why they need to do that. So that kind of bothered me about the first movie, and I never got to fully understand it, and I didn't like it, and also it was boring. Because obviously it's a lot of dialogue, and I get that too. This movie, the first movie, you needed to understand the dialogue, right? You need to listen to it. You have to have it built up to the second movie, which is right where the second one starts off from. But even then, like, even hearing all the stuff they're talking about, I was still like, damn, man, I don't care. I don't know. It just couldn't stick to me. And I feel like Dune 1 and Dune 2 are movies that you really have to read the book in order to appreciate it, which I feel like that's really the main thing that kind of stopped me from liking the movie. I wish it was something like Harry Potter where you didn't have to read the books to like it, because I know a lot of people who read Harry Potter, they saw the movie Harry Potter and then they read the book afterward because they like it so much. I wish it was like this, you know, but I just couldn't get myself to. Anyway, so Dune 2, it starts off with Timothy It starts off with Timothy and Zendaya, and the whole, like, the first hour or so, I guess, of the movie is you're just building their relationship, right? You're building the love interest between them two. You're understanding why, you know, they start liking each other and all that other shit. And to me, I don't know, it was kind of weird because there's moments where Zendaya was like showing interest in the guy, and there's other moments where she's like, man, fuck this dude. I don't know, maybe that's just me or something. So it was, I don't know, I just never cared for it. It was whatever. The action scenes, there was quite a few, but it was nothing crazy. It was nothing like, oh my god, this shit was fucking amazing. I don't know, nothing really kept with me except for the black and white scene. That was the only thing that kept with me that I kind of remember, but that's only because it was so weird. But we'll get to that later. So one of my first gripes is the names were so weird to me. I didn't like the names of the characters. They just felt so it was hard to remember the names because it was trying to be like some Star Wars type shit, right? Or just space fighters type stuff. Like, I couldn't remember the names at all. The only names I remember was what's his name? Paul, the main character, Timothy, and that's only because they started saying it at the very end. They would say some other name that I don't fucking know at all because it was, you know, it's supposed to be like these space names. Zendaya has a tribe name, and she has like her actual name, and her actual name in the movie, I don't know if it's a play on to her real name because it's supposed to sound like her name, because her actual name in the movie, quote unquote, is Zahel or something like that, Zahel, but it low-key sounds like Zahel straight up. And in that moment, I'm like, damn, Zendaya's a fucking Nazi. I was kidding. The planet's name Arceus. There's all these names. All these names were like these stupid space names, like, oh, I am Lord Suckon. Like, I don't know. It was very hard to remember the names and understand who they were talking to. So if they mentioned one person's name, I'm like, I have no idea who the fuck that is. Yeah. So that's kind of made it hard for me to keep track. Another thing too is I didn't like the enemies. The enemies never felt as if they were a real threat. Because first of all, they're bald. Second of all, they're just paint white. Like, come on, man. Come on, dog. I was kidding. No, Austin Butler. Austin Butler seemed like a freak. Don't get me wrong. That boy's a freak. Don't get me wrong. I love Elvis too, but they just never felt like a threat. And I think that's what really made it. I think that's what made me really hate the fight scenes, because there was never a moment in time where I felt that they were in danger. The white dudes never felt like they were a threat. Every time they would go in, bitch, they get clapped, bro, straight up. Like, whether it was their machines or whether it was just taking over the fort or something like that, they would get clapped. And I never felt as if one of the main characters were gonna die. They never lost. The good guys, they never lost a battle. I'm not too sure. It was nothing major. So there was never a real threat. You never felt like, oh my god, I'm at the edge of my seat because I'm scared my favorite character is gonna die. I never got that. You never felt that. Another thing was, it always felt like the reason it was so hard to keep track of what's going on was it would kind of transition between night and day pretty frequently, or there would be moments where it's about the heroes, and then next thing you know, you see it goes from the heroes, then it goes to the villains, and it goes back to the heroes. But they're like in a completely different area during like a completely different time of day, and I'm like, what the hell just happened? It jumped like 12 hours in a matter of like 2 scenes, and it just jumped. Like, it was like, hey, we're here. Next scene, we're over here. Like, what the? Like, how do we? I don't know. That part was a little goofy not goofy, but that part was just a little weird to me. And then this last thing I want to talk about, this is a spoiler, so I'm gonna put a little timestamp on the video where to go to. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about a spoiler. I'm gonna talk about the last scene. So that is the warning. All right, all right. So now that the losers are away, so the last scene. One thing I want to mention is in the final battle, Timothy Chalamet is fighting Austin Butler, right? And they have this little dagger fight with the swords. The dagger fight, I think that shit's goofy, bro. Like, it's trying to be another Star Wars, another space type thing. And honestly, Star Wars low-key better. Like, the dagger fight, it's just goofy to me, just using little knives. That's not the issue. So, Timothy Chalamet, right? He wins the fight against Austin Butler, and because of that, he's like, I bested you, now make me king. And he tells that to like Christopher Walken and something like that. He's like, make me king, whatever, suck my dick. One of the things he does is he wants to become emperor, I don't know, and he asks for the emperor, Christopher Walken's character's daughter. He wants her as like his bitch. Kidding. He wants her as his princess or something like that. And that was the only part of the movie where I'm like, oh hell yeah, that's 100% realistic. Like, I give him props to that, because I'm not gonna lie, I prefer Florence Pugh over Zendaya. Like, bro, Florence Pugh, she bad as hell. So to me, I'm like, let's get it, Timothy. But that's supposed to be like a shock factor to the rest of the people watching, because it's like, oh no, you can't do that. You and Zendaya, you've been through everything. Like, I don't give a fuck, dude. Florence Pugh bad as hell. If I was Timothy Chalamet, I would do the exact same thing, bro. I would kill the dad, and I'd be like, all right, give me your fucking girl, bro. Give me your girl. That was the only part that I liked about the movie. So I guess in other words, I just want to say, I didn't like the movie because it was super hard to understand exactly why they were doing something. I kind of get what he was doing, but I just needed. It was going from A to B, and I could understand it, but I just wish there was more in depth on why we're going from A to B. Or in other words, we're going from A to Z, and I just want to understand where we're going, why we're taking the B route, C route, E route, F route. Like, I want to understand more about why we're doing this. That's something. Just the names are super hard to keep track of who is who. So anytime they mention someone else's name, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it would be like, all right, we must stop King Suck-On. I'm like, who's Suck-On? I never felt like there was tension. I never felt there was tension that the main characters would die, or one of my favorite characters would die. I never felt that. It was just, the bad guys never felt intimidating, because they would just lose, get their ass whooped, and they were bald. Which, I mean, hey, what can you do about that? Like, they're bald, you can't do anything about that. But still, I don't know. It's a weird ass movie, dude. It's whatever. I think the movie is mid. I think it's okay. Nothing too crazy. I give it a 6.5 out of 10. Florence Pugh, though, she bad as hell.